everyone, my name is Isabella Robbins, and I'm a recent EKU graduate. I just graduated in May with my bachelor's in psychology, and I am now a first year EDS school psychology student at WKU. I thought, in honor of National School Psychology Week, I would come back to where I went to college and I would tell you all about the amazing field of school psychology in hopes to bring some of you guys towards this career path. So I'm sure you're at the point in college where you're starting to wonder, what do I want to do for my career? And this is a really big, important, life-changing decision. So whenever you're reflecting on this, I want you to ask yourself what you're looking for in a career. As far as school psychology, I want to read some of these points to you and ask yourself if they sound appealing to you. So, in school psychology, as a career, we help create positive school environments. We help assist families and teachers. We work with children and youth. And we make a positive difference in someone's life. And the cool thing is you become a specialist in an area of interest. So let's talk more about it. So what is school psychology? We have this definition straight from the National Association of School Psychologists, or NASP. NASP says that school psychologists are uniquely qualified members of school teams that support students' abilities to learn and teachers' abilities to teach. They also apply expertise in mental health, which is something I'm very passionate about, learning, and behavior, and they help children and youth succeed academically, socially, behaviorally, and emotionally. The field of school psychology is very collaborative because school psychologists partner with families and teachers, other school staff, and professionals in the community to create safe, healthy, and supportive learning environments for children. This is all done to strengthen the connections among home, school, and the community for the child. Let's talk even more about it. So, what does a school psychologist do? There are 3 domains within the field of school psychology. So, the first would be assessment. During assessment, school psychologists are trained to give different forms of standardized tests. One of them is an IQ test. An IQ test usually tests a child's cognitive functioning. They take the data from that test and compare it to other people of that child's age to see how that child is performing based on their age level. There are also achievement tests, and there are social, emotional, and behavioral functioning measures as well. Achievement tests test a student's academic performance within mainly reading and math proficiency, and the social, emotional, behavioral functioning piece gets into that mental health aspect. For the longest time, school psychology didn't even cover mental health. Mental health is actually a growing part of school psychology, and it's something that really drew me to the field as well, because there is a lot of work that needs to be done in our schools surrounding mental health. So that gets into the counseling aspect. Oftentimes, school psychologists are often confused with guidance counselors, and while a school psychologist is trained to give counseling, they're trained in other domains as well, the assessment intervention aspect. So, a school psychologist is trained in counseling, both individually and within small groups, and they have a very acquired knowledge around mental health. And the last domain is intervention. During intervention, school psychologists take all of the data that they learn about the child, and or it could be a classroom as well, like a group setting, And the school psychologist takes all that information and develops an intervention that would help solve a certain problem. So this could be around academic skills, so students struggling with academics, executive functioning, so think of a child who struggles with organization, planning, etc. Social skills and coping skills, so students struggling with stress or managing mental health symptoms. School psychologists also work closely with other professionals. They work with school counselors, school social workers, speech pathologists, special education teachers. The list could really go on. So, another big part of school psychology, too, is their work within system levels. So, school psychologists will often collaborate with principals and other school administrators to affect change at the school and district levels. This could be implementing different programs within schools. So a few really popular ones is number one, the PBIS, Positive Behavior Intervention and Supports, and the MTSS, the Multi-Tiered System of Support. School psychologists help all students, families, and teachers. They are also trained in crisis response and trauma, so that's where a lot of this counseling piece comes into. So some examples of some trauma work, they could help with natural disasters. So when Hurricane Katrina happened, a lot of school psychologists were within the schools helping the students through that. They're also trained to help in community violence and grief counseling due to the death of students, staff, and loved ones. School psychologists can also help children with things that they're dealing with even outside of school. This could look like family issues. So some common ones are their parents getting divorced, loved ones dealing with substance abuse, and military deployment too. So these issues can be addressed by school psychologists within the schools. A good way to think about a school psychologist is imagine them as a child psychologist in a school setting. They are really meant to just serve as advocates for students. School psychologists are qualified to work in a variety of settings. We do have a lot of them being school-based practitioners, but we also have some that are in clinical settings, such as private practice, working in a clinic, or even a hospital. Some are also working in the university teaching. Some are working in administration. The cool thing too about school psychology is you can do more than one setting at a time. So, for example, you could work as a school-based practitioner during the day, but have a private practice that you're working part-time. Some people will teach part-time at a university while also doing the school-based practitioner part too. So there's a lot of flexibility within this field. So most people who go on to pursue a career in school psychology major in either psychology, child development, sociology, education, or some related field. This does not mean that people with other majors can't become school psychologists. The first 4 majors might be the most direct path to becoming a school psychologist, but the main thing is you want to make sure that you enjoy being around children, because that is the huge part of school psychology. That's the population you are going to be working with the most. So, what is the job outlook? Because this is something that is very important to consider when choosing a career. Well, the good thing is with school psychology, there is so much job security. Even for high school students, by the time they were to finish their school psychology degrees, there would still be a great demand for school psychologists. Also, keep in mind that many school psychologists are very satisfied with being a school psychologist. So, it's actually listed within the top 15 among best social services jobs in the US. So, this is a great field and it's a growing field. So, I'll tell you a little bit about the program that I'm in. So, I'm in the WKU EDS program. There are 2 different pathways to becoming a school psychologist. Number 1 is getting your EDS degree, which is what WKU offers. And there are also PhD tracks. The EDS is the most popular because it is less competitive, so it is easier to get into. And I say easier because there is a process. You have to apply, you have to go through interviews. So there is a certain level of competition when applying for this program, but the PhD is definitely more competitive. But WKU does offer an educational specialist degree in school psychology. An education specialist degree is a 3-year degree where the last year is a paid internship. So very comforting to know there. Your first 2 years are coursework. So your first year mainly is just being in classrooms and doing hands-on learning. Your second year is practicum. So you're actually going in the schools and implementing what you learned. And your third year is that paid internship. And another really nice thing about WKU's program is it's a small cohort style of learning. So in my program, there's only 12 of us. And I really like that because it creates a very small, supportive environment. So you have the same group of people that you take all of your classes with. And it's just really nice to encourage each other and watch each other grow through the program. So I've learned to really appreciate that.